Today, over 1 billion children in the world live in poverty. At Help Heal Humanity, our goal is to connect children in need with people like you who want to make a difference. Our student sponsorship program helps provide children with the necessities for a healthy and successful start to life. When you sponsor a student, you're not only giving them the gift of education, you're giving them the best chance for a brighter future. 100% of your donation supports the tuition fees, uniforms, textbook, and school supplies needed to thrive in a safe and healthy learning environment. Sponsor a student now and be the catalyst for their brighter future.
Hello.
Hello. It's been so long. I'm so excited to be here and be live and be doing this again.
Yes, it's been a few months. I feel like I haven't seen you like I said earlier, in a year. I was like, dang, I miss my queen, Serena.
Right? And every time we connect, it's always a very quick something about work, something about the charity, and then we don't actually get time to connect. So
I know. I said this show gives us a time to connect and also get to talk about what's going on with Help Humanity, and then the icing on the cake, get to interview another nonprofit to give them some light, to show some light on their organization as well. So, first we bring on Mrs. Dr. Stephanie Olson. You know, I was called the Women Queens. You're Queen. Give us just a little bit, and we'll talk about more after the interview, but just give us a little bit of what you've been doing, because you haven't, like you said, you haven't been on for a while.
Yeah, it's been such a long time. So it's great to be back to the Healing Humanity show with, of course, our amazing queen producer, Barbara Beckley, and me, the co-host, Serena Bufalino. So yeah, I mean, in terms of Help Heal Humanity, the holidays were a really busy time for us because we love to go out into the community and serve the vulnerable communities, especially during holidays when we remind people that are sometimes unloved that they continue to be loved. So we did a lot of work at the women's shelters. We fulfilled kids' wish lists. Thanks to an incredible donation from Highview Partners, we were able to gift all the women extremely beautiful gifts as well. We did quite a few meal programs. And then, Haiti, maybe the US might know a little bit about Haiti more than Canada because you guys are closer. And, Haiti continues to be in distress, continues to be in crises. What Help Heal Humanity is extremely proud of is during the chaos, thousands of schools have shut down and businesses, but Help Heal Humanity was one of the few schools, especially in the ghettos and the slums where the big gang wars are happening, to keep our school running. So, I mean, to our audience and to people who watch, we know that there's help, and we know that there's crises all over the world right now, especially with inflation and what is happening in the world with politics and numbers and all of that. But, the one good thing about Help Heal Humanity, aside from us being totally volunteer based,
Mhm.
is, we've made such amazing connections working in Haiti over the past 12 years that we
Mm.
can remain one of the very, very few charities that can walk into some of the most dangerous places in Haiti and be respected. And so I really hope that this year, as we go into 2023, and it
Mhm.
continues to be a hard time, not only in Haiti, but everywhere, that
Mhm.
we can push our initiatives forward because,
Yes.
again, we're volunteer based, which sets us apart from most charities,
Mhm.
and we continuously show that the connections that we make in the communities that we serve are
Mhm.
real, on the grounds work,
Mhm.
predominantly led by the people in the country and not by
Mhm.
us. Yes, we do the fundraising and we do the connections, but we lead not by what we think the people need, by what the people tell us they need.
Mhm.
So it's exciting, it's
Mhm.
challenging, but yeah, for 2023, as you know, we had our very first like annual meeting yesterday. Our main goals are to
Mhm.
really tap into fundraising. you know
Yes.
I think it's also our 5-year anniversary of existence this year.
Oh, I didn't know that. See, you didn't see
Yeah,
Queen. I
yeah,
missed it. Oops.
yeah. So,
Yeah,
well,
you.
everybody missed it because we got incorporated at the very end of 2018. So 18
Oh, okay.
really didn't count. 19 and 20 we did pretty decent, like actually really decent for a grassroots charity. And then of
Right.
course, the end of 2021 and 22 have been difficult because of
Mhm.
COVID. But
Yes. Yeah.
I hope I hope we can put that aside and move forward. And for the first time in the history of Help Heal Humanity's 5-year existence, our main focus is on fundraising
Yes.
because we know we have developed the programs, we know we have the communities, we know we have what it takes to be successful, but funding is the only thing holding us back. So we are attempting a new model and a new approach with our main goal being fundraising. So lots of exciting stuff. I know we have a guest, so we can come back to that later. But thank you for giving me and our charity the opportunity to just shed some light on what's happening.
Yes, and you're right. We're going to shed some more light on that
Oh,
after we bring our wonderful guest on. Can you hear me? Uh-oh. Looks like Serena froze. That's what I love technology at its best. You there, Serena? Hello? Uh-oh. I got her. Okay. I got to do that. I'll let her work on it and I'll bring her back up. Looks like she froze, but that's okay. I love technology when it works. And I have to say, I love technology when it doesn't work. Because if I say I hate technology, then it's going to get worse. So let's just show all the love to the technology right now to make sure. And I'll make sure when I see Serena get back, I will definitely bring her up. But let me introduce our wonderful, wonderful, wonderful nonprofit that we're going to shine a light on today. And her name is Stephanie Olson. Now, before I get into the really, the basically the biography of her a little bit, I want to say I just want to show this little love to her by saying, I was telling everybody, you never know who you're going to meet in certain network functions or maybe certain products you might be a part of or certain coaching groups that you're part of. And I met this wonderful lady of a group, and I have to thank Lauren for that because I'm a part of. Well, I just came up a part of his coaching, and he had basically a group meeting with all of the people that he coaches and everything. And I met this wonderful lady through there. Now we didn't really talk that much because there was a lot of us in there. But soon as we were start saying, do you need, if you have a show or maybe we can help each other. That's what we do as a community. And I put it out there. I just said, anybody has a nonprofit, me and Serena Bufalino, we come together now twice a month. And she basically, I sent her the link and here we are. So let me introduce her. And I think Serena's back, so I'll make sure to bring her up too. So Stephanie Olson is a speaker and author and a chief executive officer of the Set Me Free Project, a prevention educational organization on human trafficking, social media safety, and healthy relationships. Stephanie also helps leaders build resilience. Her work on teaching resilience and leadership has inspired people across the United States, She engages teams on topics such as leadership, trauma, toxic workplace, mental health, resilience, and DEI. As a woman of color, a survivor of domestic and sexual violence, and an accomplished CEO, she brings live experiences, research, and humor to help take your team to the next level. In her conversation and humorous style, Stephanie inspires and empowers. I love it, love it, love it. So we're going to welcome this queen and back Serena, my wonderful and beautiful co-host. But we're going to show a little bit love to our sponsor real quickly, and then we'll be right back.
Hi everyone, it's Help Heal Humanity, and today we are at the Good Shepherd. We've made a generous donation, and I want to say thank you to all our donors and everyone in the community who believes in us. This is my dear friend Christopher from high school who works at the Good Shepherd. So go ahead and let our audience know what you're going to do with all of this merchandise.
I just wanted to thank everybody for contributing to us and helping us here through Help Heal Humanity. All this stuff is going to be given out to our guests for free. No one has to pay anything, but thankfully because of you guys and your donations, we're able to put the stuff out for free for our guests to take home and stay warm, especially at this time of the year. The season has changed. The boots are coming in, need to go on people's feet, the jackets on people's backs, all thanks to you guys. So God bless you all and keep it up.
Thank you.
God bless you, sister.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, 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 is great.
Love that, love that. So we are back. Serena, are you good? Before
I'm
we
good.
start? You're good? Okay.
Yes, I'm sorry about that. I'm on my phone now, so we shouldn't have any issues.
Okie dokie. I know technology. We love it. So first of all, thank you, Dr. Stephanie, for coming on the show today so we can give you spotlighted and show the people that you're a world changer. And that's what we love to do. We always say, me and Serena always says that, we talk about Help Humanity because this is the one, we're both on the board. She's basically the CEO, the founder of it. But we also said we would like to bring on other nonprofits and give them shed some light. Because when you think about it, at the end of the day, we're all trying to help move that.
Absolutely.
So welcome, lady.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you for having me. And I love the work that you're doing. So thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you.
It's awesome. Yes.
Yeah. So we want to start off, lady, because we always like have this conversation. It's not really interview. It's like we want to conversate with you. People get to know you. So I always ask before we get into what you do, so wonderful, is how did you, really just say to yourself, I really want to take this on, build this nonprofit and just move it forward?
I didn't. I always say I came in kicking and screaming. So I live a life. And so I am personally a survivor of sexual and domestic violence. I am a recovering addict, and I was working with women in that area and loving it. I was speaking all over the United States and just having a great time. And one of the women that I worked with said, "Hey, victims," not having any idea what that meant. And that's really how it got started. We started to and realized there was just a huge gap in the areas of counter trafficking, that a lot of people were doing things in kind of that reactive state. And on the victim service side, restoration, recovery, which is extremely important, but nobody was talking to the targets of trafficking, which is our youth and their parents and their educators and the people that served them. And so really, that's how we began.
Wow, kicking and screaming. Don't
Kicking
feel
and screaming.
Sometimes that happens.
Well, I think anybody who runs a nonprofit knows that there are days that you're like, there's days that, okay, I'm ready to quit now. And it's just this, it's a journey, but it is a fulfilling journey.
It's a fulfilling journey, yes. And you're doing a wonderful job at it, kicking and screaming and everything. And you're just being real. I mean, that's one thing I love about especially people that like you and Serena, you know, starting or being a part of it. You're being real. You're letting people know, hey, I hear you, but I know that my heart goes out to you, and that's why I do it. See, when the love and the heart comes in, it covers all the other things that we deal with.
That's right. That's right. I do a lot less kicking and screaming these days than I did at the very beginning. So doing a little better on that.
Yeah, yeah. So, Serena, do you have some questions before we get into more about what she does with her organization?
I always have questions.
I know you do. That's why I asked.
I love it.
I totally agree with you. I think, you know, sometimes we're called to do this even when we don't want to do it. And I feel like, again, your unfortunate circumstances of what you had to go through life and then overcoming those obstacles make you an inspiration and a leader to others. And I think, you know, when Barbara was reading your bio, I tell everyone resilience is one of my favorite words.
Yes.
I think we don't even realize how much strength and or courage we have until we're forced to deal with it. And even when we are dealing with it, and sometimes it doesn't feel like we are coping or managing well, but once we get out of it, and we always do, it's a wake-up call. And then it's also a gift to be able to share that story with others and give hope and inspiration to others.
Yes.
So I commend you for your life's journey and what I call a roller coaster ride that we don't always want to be on, and then transforming that into something good. And as you said, you know, starting a nonprofit, not really knowing what you're getting yourself into, it takes so much hours, so much dedication, and, you know, and it's a lot of hard work. So I always do commend people who are starting out and just look where they go. So I'll get into your cause because I near and dear to your cause, but I'll let you speak of it before I.
Yeah. I just wanted to add before you start, Dr. Stephanie, on your cause, is that I think going back to the kicking and screaming and doing what we do, all of us, is that I think what happens is within our own stories, like you said, you've been through, you know, with the domestic. I've been, just to let you know, I don't want you to, you know, you're not alone here. I've been through sexual assault. I've been through, you know, cancer survivor. I call it cancer conqueror. And just bullying when I was much younger. So I think with all our stories, and I know Serena has hers, you have yours, of course, that bursts. I think that bursts out where the nonprofits kind of lay into us because we either lived it, know somebody that lived it, or, you know, it's just in us to say, you know what, I don't want anybody else. And if they're dealing with that, I want to know, first of all, they're not alone. And second, we're here to help, you know. And I think that's what bursts us, and that pushes us with all that kicking and screaming and stuff and everything else that we do to say, no, I did it. I live with it. I know somebody that did live with it. And I want to make sure that I'm out there helping and supporting that person because I don't want them to feel alone, you know.
I love that. And we, you know, I think we all have the same mission to some extent, and we can't, one organization can't do it. We all have to work together. We all have to come together. So I just really honor what you're doing with it. I love this. I just love it. The collaboration and the working it's beautiful. So thank you.
Yes. Now, I would love for you to get a little bit more into, because I know sexual trafficking, I mean, the other part of it has been horrendous right now in the world, in US and, you know, in other countries.
Everywhere,
It is just the horror stories. So I was going to ask you just to kind of walk us through that, because I know that's what you know, about setting free and helping people in that aspect.
So, and I'll just define it actually first and talk about it briefly, and then tell you a little bit about what we do. But human trafficking is the buying and selling of a human being for the personal profit or gain of another through force, fraud, or coercion. So that's what it is in a nutshell. And really what that means is that there are three people, typically the buyer, the seller, and the individual being trafficked. And there needs to be some sort of exchange of value, something, money, drugs, a place to stay, whatever it might be. One of the biggest myths, though, surrounding human trafficking is that individuals are kidnapped and maybe shipped overseas. That is not happening nearly as much as we think it might be happening. And what traffickers are doing are building relationships, and often through social media. And so we've got this whole, I always say to parents, human trafficking is not only in our communities, sometimes it's in our homes through social media. And so we need to understand that not only are, I always hear those people, those poor people that are at risk, and there is no such thing as those people. That does not exist. Any of us could be at risk, but I always tell parents, your kids, your grandkids are at risk for this. And so it's that perception of what it is that needs and what it's not that needs to be changed.
I'm glad you explained that, because I mean, I know a little bit about, but you really put it in perspective. I'm getting my words out for the social media, getting them from social, and that is huge. And I wouldn't even think about that. I mean,
Well, and when we think about social media, we put so much out there. We put a lot of identifying information out there. We put information about our lives, about our families. And when we have people following us that we don't know, they're not going to find out all of this information and come and kidnap us. They're going to build relationships with us. And they go through that grooming process, that targeting, building trust, filling a need, isolating, sexualizing, and then maintaining control. That can happen over a year's time or more. And so we think about it it's very quick. I'm going to take you, I'm going to snatch you, and I'm going to sell you. It's a long process that traffickers use, because if they do that fraud and coercion, now you believe you have chosen that and you're a part of that. And I'm sure, Serena, you see that quite a bit in your work.
Well, I mean, I see it. So, I mean, the education behind it, like you said, a lot of people don't realize what it is. And so, I mean, just in our hometown where I live, human trafficking is very prevalent there. My cousin is one of the top trainers in the city for human trafficking. So
fantastic.
I've brought her into my classrooms to educate the girls, especially. Like you said, it's like being in an abusive relationship, because girls are, and again, a lot of people don't know this, girls are entering a relationship that they feel like is actually a relationship with this person who in the beginning is identifying themselves as somebody who's interested in them and possibly, and they're luring them in, right? And we're talking about young, innocent girls, right? So sometimes their first real relationship, and what that's like. Relationship, you fall in love, and you'll do anything for that person, not realizing that what you're doing is not really love. But then they hook you, they get you, and it's really hard to get out of.
And you don't even, just like a domestic violence situation, you don't want to get out of it. Your goal is to be loved, stay in that, repair that relationship. But I wanted to just add boys too. We see such an increase of boys being trafficked at almost an even younger age, that they enter into trafficking. And so it's definitely a insidious, evil, sick industry.
I think educating is the most important. It's, I'm a teacher by heart, so I feel like, yes, I understand academics are important, but I mean, I really do believe with all my heart that this, what I call as life skills, social skills, or alternative education.
Yeah.
These are essentials. Learning what, like, again, in your bio, what is a healthy relationship? What does that look
Right.
like? What are boundaries? I didn't understand what boundary meant until I was like literally in like my early 30s.
I know.
Mhm.
And boundaries are tough.
It's
Yeah.
extremely important to educate people,
Yeah.
society just in general, with the basics, of
Absolutely.
about human trafficking.
Yeah.
So many people think that it's not happening, and like you said, not happening in their hometown or in their community. And
Right.
you're shocked if you do have a speaker come in or services that educate the youth. You
Mhm.
understand that it's right here, it's right now, and it could be happening to you.
Absolutely. And I think that our goal is to stop human trafficking before it starts.
Yeah.
Mm.
And that is one of the things we have a curriculum from kindergarten through 12th grade for youth, and then we speak to adults of every facet of the community. But our goal is to really get this curriculum in the schools, in the hands of social workers and counselors, and give them the opportunity to educate the kiddos over time. And so, they would have access to this, be able to talk to the kids on a daily basis about this stuff. And so I think it's just important that we all become very educated about what it is, what it looks like. And you're absolutely right. It's in our backyard. And I think we would be shocked to find out, that who the traffickers are, who the buyers are, and
Yeah.
who the individuals that are being victimized are. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Well, I just want to let everybody know that's watching, if they just came on, this is the Help Humanity Show with myself, Barbara Beckley, and my wonderful co-host, Mrs. Serena Bufalino, a CEO, founder, and just a lovely queen of Help Heal Humanity. And our wonderful queen that's here as our basically guest of nonprofit, Mrs. Dr. Stephanie Olson, talking about Set Me Free Project. And now, Stephanie, I wanted to go into, because I'm just put it up here so people kind of see your wonderful site
Thank
that
you.
you have, is you talk about, I see some things about, adopting a school,
Mhm.
going more into that. So I was going to ask, just go a little more into that part of what you do as well.
Yeah, so we love to get our curriculum in schools, but our curriculum is not free. We definitely don't make bank on it, but it covers the cost of what we do and putting that together. And so a lot of times when we provide curriculum to a school, it's the full curriculum. So they can have it for K through 12, or they can just get high school, just get middle school, whichever benefits them the best. But sometimes schools can't afford that. There are definitely schools that can, but sometimes schools just have a more difficult time. And so we have great donors, great people who come around who can adopt a school where they would like to see the curriculum in that school. And if they can help us make a connection with that school, we can give that school the curriculum at no charge because our amazing donor adopted the school. And so we train the counselors and the social workers on how to provide that curriculum, what that's all about. And then we provide a continual support system for those facilitators for the entire year. And they can contact us in case of disclosures, or if there's questions, or a student said this, what do I need to do? So that's what adopting a school is. You can actually purchase the curriculum for a school of your choice and help us get that curriculum to those facilitators, social workers, counselors, or teachers.
And, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I can't stress enough, especially as an educator, how, and I'm an educator of special education youth,
Oh, love it.
which is even, I think, a little bit more critical. The
They
amounts
are very vulnerable.
very vulnerable.
Yeah.
So the amount of cutbacks in the school boards are ridiculous. And so even if there was a little bit of a budget for something like this, which is so essential, natural and needed.
Mm-hmm.
These are the kind of things that get cut out. So I love the
Right.
fact that you have, adopt a school, because then that allows these resources to get back into the school. So
Right.
one of my biggest questions for you at this point in time is, how, I don't know what something like that costs, but how do you do it so that you have the funding to be able to get in more and more and more schools, because that's what people
Yeah.
objective.
Well, the cool thing is and it sounds kind of expensive. If you were to purchase the entire curriculum, it is $2,500. That includes 9 pieces of curriculum from kindergarten through 12th grade. And then there's a cost for the training. But once that is paid, that's it. And so there is a recertification fee, a small one of $250 every year. And the curriculum's yours. And so that is great. And then we can come in and train additional facilitators. And so the school maintains the curriculum through that time. What's great though is that it's digital curriculum, which means that we update it every year. We have our own videos, and we really do partner with the schools so that if the schools are seeing, gosh, we really need this, then we can have those conversations and create that for them. And that is what is so great. We really consider these schools partners, and they are not having stale, because the human trafficking social media industry changes consistently.
Yes.
And so if it is a curriculum that is stagnant and doesn't change often, it's old information and it's not as effective. So we actually update our information every year. And then with not only new statistics and new things, but also new videos, new activities. And so we're really providing that fresh new piece for all of those teachers, counselors, social workers, and the kids. The other thing I would say about the curriculum, and this is really important, so it's all about getting that critical thinking going. So we're not going to be standing there saying, get off social media. It's about them discerning, okay, how do I safely navigate this? What do I look for in a healthy relationship? So our curriculum is very engaging, a lot of activities, gets the kids up and moving and having fun. But the key piece that is a little counterintuitive is that we bring a lot of humor into it, because we know that when there's humor, it's retained. And so we say we take our topic very seriously, but we do not take ourselves very seriously.
Yeah.
And you just saying that, I noticed on your website where you have comedy for change.
Yes, we got see, even our fundraiser, like, we're not the gala people. We have a comedy night. And so that's actually coming up March 31st. And we just have a great time. We definitely honor the topic and really make sure that people are aware of what's going on. But because our DNA, in fact, our core values, our final core value is we have fun in everything we do. And we do that from our staff to our community. It's really important. So our DNA is fun, and that really does come across in our curriculum as well.
I love that idea. I mean, to do that.
And I love that you said
it.
in the communities that I serve as well, or we serve. I'm always, and this is what I love about Barbara. Barbara and I get in trouble sometimes because
I love it.
We're very, very, very positive, bubbly, outgoing, and maybe sometimes a little bit extra, I always tell people, like, my kids, my students, they call me crazy all the time, right? Even like community members in these very hard to serve areas, they look at me and then like so many people shake their head and laugh at me. And I feel like that's one of the greatest gifts, because you're taking such a serious situation. And like you said, like this is a very hard topic to provide safe space and open communication, but then make people feel safe and laugh, because you know what? If you can laugh and or forget about your problems, or the laughter help you get in tune with your problems, then just that alone, I say, well, then I've done a great job today, you know? So it's
critical. Well, and one of the things I think, you have this moment of laughter and fun, and then you bring it down to, okay, let's talk about the serious piece. And it just brings it into palatable chunks that you can take in. Because if you were to, there are a lot of organizations, I shouldn't say a lot, there are enough organizations that are very fear-based and want to give the information in a very sensationalized way. And although that might get somebody's attention instantly, it doesn't keep that knowledge in. And then I always say, if you are looking for the wrong things, you will not see what's actually happening.
That was good. I'm glad you brought that up, Dr. Stephanie. Yeah, that's so right. Because you can do, people say, okay, catch their attention. They, like you said, they use the fear thing of it, but is that going to hold them? That's going to keep them and get what they really need? Or you just scared them for a second and they're like, okay, and then move on. You can't do that.
Right. Exactly.
Also, the part about humor, which we actually brought up in our board meeting yesterday, is, we are dealing with very sensitive communities, sensitive topics, but nobody wants to see another picture of a kid dying with like flies around their face, right? So it's how do you stay true to the culture, to the reality, but do it in a way where you're not making people feel sad or guilty or just scroll by, right? So there's so many ethical things in charity when you are dealing with stuff like this, aside from confidentiality, is how do you present the story correctly to keep the donors, volunteers, and audience engaged. So
that's a great point that you make, because when I started in this work, there were a lot of all the imagery was like this and chains and survivors were saying, hey, that's not reality. Why are you showing that kind of imagery? That's not what happens. And so really listening to the people we're serving to find that out and what is going on is so important to the work. And you mentioned something, the ethics part of it. I get asked all the time, would you, especially by the media, would you come on our show and bring a victim with you?
Oh boy.
And I've said, well, I will, first of all, let's not call them victims. Let's call them survivors, number one. But number two, no, because this is not about re-traumatizing them for your entertainment. And I think that it is a tough mindset to get over for some, not only some individuals outside of the industry, but even some people inside nonprofits.
Yes. I'm glad you said that, because you're right. Media, they want to hear, they want that, because they send their sales and news. They want, bring, and then to say, can you bring a victim? I'm like, really? You call them a victim? Wow.
Yeah, it's a very, it's
right
very
there
short-sighted. Yeah, we say no all the time. And we tell people, in fact, we did have a survivor that worked with us. She was she was actually trafficked by her husband, and an incredible person, but she worked with us for a long time. And it started, we see that a lot. The relapse starts happening and the traumatization is just getting worse. And so we even have told survivors who will say, hey, I want to tell my story. Let's go through a lot of work before we're at that place, because it's triggering.
Yeah.
I totally agree, Dr. Stephanie, because when because I always tell people, and Serena always knows this, I love telling my stories now because I went through that work, like you said, Dr. Stephanie, where it's okay. I can talk about it and I feel comfortable. It is not triggering. It's not, doing a lot of stuff to me. But, you have to walk through it. You just can't, you got to make sure you're okay. That's the first thing you want to make sure.
Yes. And you have to educate or share out of your healing, not out of anger, not out of your pain or trauma. It has to be out of your healing.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I was just thinking and then I won't take too much because I want you to tell some more and wrap it what you do. But what I always say to people when I talk about my experience, my sexual, basically sexual rape, is I dealt with at the age of 23.
Sorry.
And I can talk about that. And even some people think I'm crazy, but I pray and forgive the person that did it.
Absolutely.
And some people like, what, Barbara? But he held you hostage. He pulled a gun on you. He did all that stuff to you. And I said, I know. And it was very troublesome for me. And I went through a lot with that. But then I said to myself, I'm not doing it for him. I was doing it for me, because I had to let that go. That was like the last part that I had to let go before I could really now discuss it with people and tell people and try to be a light for others to say, I'm here with you.
That's what forgiveness is all about.
Yeah.
Good
was
for
rough,
you.
It was rough, but I did it. Yeah.
Well, and forgiveness is a choice. It's not a feeling. We're not going to say, I forgive, I let this go, I forgive you, and I'm going to feel better. It's a daily process. And I love that you shared that. Thank you, because that is all about you and your healing and your release and your breakthrough. And I just think that's so beautiful.
Yeah.
So many information here about, truthfulness, about forgiveness, about healthy relationship boundaries. I think we could probably go on forever, but I do want to ask you, because we did identify what human trafficking is. We did identify the need to educate our communities, our peers, our students. But for those who want to learn more information or want to get involved, can you maybe just let our viewers and audience know, like, where do they begin? What do they do? How do they get in touch? All of that.
Absolutely. Well, you can absolutely go to setmefreeproject.net, and that will take you to our website and you can learn all about it. But also feel free to reach out to me at Stephanie at setmefreeproject.net. Let me say that again, Stephanie at setmefreeproject.net. And I can help you determine, because a lot of people, some people love prevention and that's the direction they want to go to help. Some people want to work directly with survivors. There's a lot of opportunities to get involved, but I would say wherever your passion is drawing you, wherever your heart is drawing you, get educated, number one. Volunteer, but giving your money to an organization that you love and respect and want to see grow, I think is so important. I hear people say, well, I don't want to just give money, and that's great, but don't forget, money is critical to keep that work going. And so I think that those are the three big, well, there's four: pray, get educated, volunteer, and donate.
Awesome. Well, Dr. Stephanie, what we usually do, we want to make sure we give you at least 30 seconds to kind of just wrap up anything or anything else you want to try to say to the audience. Then we'll bring you back and do a closure. But I'm going to take myself down and Mrs. Serena, and then we'll give you 30 seconds to do some last thoughts.
That's great. Well, I think the last thought would be that we are available to you as a resource. We love to do presentations via Zoom, so meetings or webinars. Get your friends and your family together and grab some popcorn and coffee or whatever it is, and we would love to present to you. But if you know a school that needs this, reach out to me. We can get the curriculum in the hands of your school's counselors and teachers and really help them. But we can go anywhere. So we do want to be a resource to you in any way we can.
Yay. Thank you. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Again, I mean, I love doing this show with Barbara. I get to learn, I get to be taught, inspired. And again, like you said, volunteering, donating, all of these are essential for charities like ourselves to keep going and do the good work that we do. You know, it's hard. So many people commend us and so many people praise us, but they don't realize we are dependent on them.
That's right.
We are dependent on you for our success, right? So again, I think what you're doing is incredible. And again, human trafficking is becoming one of the number one top
global illegal industries, actually.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. It's very big, right? And so I'm grateful for your organization, and to all our viewers, please go to the website, please contact them, because again, you'd be shocked to know that it is happening, and it's happening right in your community. And so to be aware of the signs is going to help you a lot better. As a parent, I think this is essential to know for your young daughters and your young, males, because
it's important. So I just want to let you know, Dr. Stephanie, you are always welcome back.
Thank you.
Coming up, we're here for you to shine that light again. And just thank you for coming and sharing the world changer. I always say that you are, and what your team is doing, and in your heart, you have a heart of gold. And we just love you, respect you, and thank you for being on the Help Humanity Show.
Thank you. And right back at you. You're doing amazing work. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Okay, we will be right back after this sponsor.
Raise your hand if you've ever been busy. Raise your hand if you've ever got tired and feel like you just need a couple days off. Most people would have both hands up right now. That's our world, fast-paced and income-driven. That's why we get caught up in our own lives so often, and that's why it's understandable when most people don't focus on worries that aren't their own. So what makes someone become a humanitarian? Someone whose whole life focuses on the welfare of other humans.
When you go back and you see kids that were living on the streets, kids had no structure, they had no routine, people who had nothing, they didn't have meals. When you see that they're all of a sudden they're waking up, they have structure, they have something to do, they have a meal in their belly, their life changes completely. They like I said, their self-esteem changes, their self-worth, their ability to know who they are in the world and what they have the potential of becoming. To give that hope, to give that dream, and then to watch people actually use that to do good for themselves and others it's amazing. It becomes an addiction.
And with Serena's help, we'll find the meaning of life to a humanitarian.
Awesome. Serena, you there with me still? Okay, good.
I'm still here, yes.
Yes. Well, we have at least a few minutes here. And first, again, I want to thank Dr. Stephanie again also for coming on the show, being, our spotlight nonprofit that we have on that we do every show. Real quickly, just to do some updates for everybody. And then, Serena, I want you to basically give your thoughts and then we'll close out. But just let everybody know right now, Help Humanity, we used to come on every week, but we're going to be coming on the first and third of every Thursday now for a little while, because we want to make sure that we're really bringing you some really good content here, bringing more of the spotlight nonprofits. And, that takes work. And doing a weekly show sometimes can be a little taxing because Mrs. Serena, she's everywhere doing everything, and I'm doing everything. And that's not a bad thing, but sometimes you have to make sure you're doing your boundaries. So with that, we decided, okay, let's really make the first and third show powerful. And just to let everybody know, we will be first and third, because I know some people might be looking for us every week, but I just want to make sure that people understand for right now, and it might change, but for right now, we're going to the 2 shows a month. So Serena, lady, yes. You got a few minutes here. Any other comments or just close?
No, I'm just really excited to be back after a bit of a break. Even though I live in the country and I have 2 internet providers, my internet doesn't hold up. So I apologize for doing it on my phone, but this is the way it's got to be. And just again to our viewers, we do touch on sensitive topics. It is a way to educate people, inspire people, motivate people, and hopefully move people to take just even baby steps in the right direction to not only heal themselves, but together heal humanity. So I look forward to doing this. I think we're going to not only, showcase the great work that HHH is doing and other charities around the world, but, we'd like to bring it back to the audience and ask you, what do you want to learn? What do you want to know? There's so many different topics, again, about healthy relationships, healthy boundaries, what is happening in the world, addictions, mental health. So we kind of deal with all the topics. Our main mission is education in all the topics, social skills, life skills, mental health, all of that. So let us know what you're craving, what you want. Sharing the podcast with other people is probably the most important thing you can do. And I just look forward to growing with you, Barbara, with our audience, and hopefully continuing to help heal humanity.
Yes. And just real quickly, Serena said something really important too, is that, this show, we're going to take on some topics that we want to talk about more, get a little bit more deeper into, like something what we did with Dr. Stephanie this evening. So yes, Serena, me and I are going to be tackling and really talking about some subjects that really to bring awareness. It's time to be more aware of what's going on in this world and not putting and I'm going to be blunt here, about putting our head in the sand and then waiting on other people to maybe do something about it. You can do a little part. It's not like you have to fly anywhere. There's other things you can do just right there in your home or in your neighborhood or in your community, and to make it a little bit better for somebody that's unfortunate. So me and Serena are gonna be hitting some good topics. I can't wait till we start discussing that and just helping out. And if you want to come on, if you have your story, just not a nonprofit if you don't have, but if you have a certain story that you want to share with us and share in the world and say, I did this, or I went through this, or now this particular person, or what, everybody help me, just messenger me, and we can work on getting that and getting you on the show and getting that story out there to people. So we're open for you to do that. This is all about helping humanity. So with that, Miss, I just love this. Serena's back.
I do. And I just want to leave on one note. And I think again, I'm not speaking for everyone, but I would, when you see people doing the charity work, doing the service work, and putting themselves out there, know somewhere in your heart that there's an underlying reason why we're doing this. We've seen it, we've experienced it, and we want to try to make changes. So get involved, and just know that, the whole world is hurting. So let's just heal it together. And I love you, Barbara. I love
you. Love you. Love you. So we'll see you. Oh, February, I think 16th, whatever that third Thursday is, we will be here. Talk to you later. Take care.
Yes. Bye. Bye.